Hello 8th grade, I am Mr. Rogers and you're watching the video lecture. Now we're jumping backwards. We're actually going back to section 1-1 and this is on elements, compounds, and chemical bonds here also. So this first page, what you see right here, you do not have to write down. These are our objectives we want to have done by the end of the lesson. So today we're going to define and compare elements, compounds, mixtures, atoms, and molecules. A lot of new vocab words there. We're going to compare chemical and physical changes. Probably may have seen that before. And explain how bonds are changed during chemical reactions. So, also then to identify evidence of chemical reactions. So first off, let's get started. The idea of a physical change. What a physical change is a change in the size, shape, or state of matter. But it's still the same thing. That's the biggest thing. A physical change is something you could see. So ice melting, that'd be the idea of something going from a solid to a liquid, but it's still H2O, it's still water. Or if I dissolve salt in the water, I still have salt, I still have water. And if I drink it, I can taste the salt and I know the water's still there. So physical changes don't change what the substance is. It doesn't change. H2O is still H2O. If I take a piece of paper and tear it, grind it up, it's still paper. It's still going to be paper. That's the idea of a physical change. On the other side there, we have the idea of a chemical change. And a chemical change actually is a change in the chemical composition of the substance. So it's going to change. Those atoms and molecules are going to be rearranged and create new or different substances. And there's some big signs we can look for that we know a chemical reaction is taking place. And so there's 6 of them here. And the first one is gas is being produced. Think about it. Biggest example is a campfire. You're burning the wood. You see the smoke. The gases are being released. A temperature change, also the campfire. You feel the heat coming off. So temperature change could be heating up. It could also be cooling down, because sometimes think of like an ice pack, those instant ice packs, and you pop the middle, shake it up, and it gets cold. A solid is formed. You have a precipitate. So when you mix 2 liquids together, you get a solid. That's a sign of a chemical reaction. Other ones include color change. So if the color is actually changed, you can't go back. It's a different color now. That's a good one. Odor change. It smells different. Is another way to look at it. And the idea that one substance seems to disappear. So maybe it does change into something. The molecules are rearranged into something different. Those were the 6 big things we look for. Really the top 2 or 3, gases produced, temperature change, those are 2 of the really big ones we look for to identify that a chemical change has taken place. Again, the idea of a chemical change, you cannot go back to what you had before. If I burn wood, I can't get that piece of wood back. It's now chemically different. It's been changed. And so we talk about the basics of chemistry, guys. We talk about the idea of compounds and molecules. And first of all, we should talk about the idea of atoms and elements first. Remember, elements, or the periodic table of elements, has all those known atoms, different types of atoms in the world. And so when we combine those together, we can make compounds. And a compound is 2 or more elements chemically combined. And so compound and molecule are almost synonyms there. A molecule is the smallest part of a compound, and it's 2 or more atoms bonded together. So anytime you have more than one atom bonded together, it's a molecule. And kind of along the idea of our physical and chemical changes, we have the idea of a mixture. A mixture is 2 or more substances mixed together, and each substance keeps its properties. So when you make trail mix, you put in the chocolate, the peanuts, whatever else you want to put in there, the cashews, nuts. They're all still in there. I can taste each one of those flavors. And a solution is a well-mixed mixture. So salt water, well, it's mixed in there. I can still tell there's salt in there and water, but it's much tougher to get out. So it's evenly distributed throughout the solution. So these are both, more like physical changes where they still keep their own properties. So now we have these chemical reactions. This is more the chemical change side. These chemical bonds. This is a force that holds 2 atoms together. And so during chemical reactions or chemical change, this occurs when chemical bonds break or when new bonds are formed. And this is going to give us when our energy release, so the temperature is going to change. This will, when it seems like new substances appear, is when these new bonds are broken and reformed during chemical reactions. So, 8th grade, I'm going to stop there. I have one more little video I want you to watch, kind of spelling out more how these atoms and molecules are related. I'm going to stop there, and I thank you guys for watching. See you guys along the way. Hello 8th grade. I'm making a quick kind of bonus video here to kind of help explain the difference or similarities between elements, atoms, compounds, and molecules. So what I want you to look at here is the idea of an element, those building blocks of all matter, and the smallest part of an element, you can have one atom, I could have one atom of, hydrogen. So I could have one atom of hydrogen, and hydrogen is an element. And then below here, we have the idea of compounds, and compounds are this combination of atoms in specific ratios. So an example of a compound would be H2O. And that means I have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. So H2, H1, 2, and then 1 oxygen atom. So H2O, that's what that means, is hydrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen. And so H2O would be one molecule of this compound. That's the smallest amount I can have. So for an element, the smallest unit is an atom, and for a compound, the smallest unit is one molecule of, let's say, H2O. I just want to take a minute there and kind of bring that all together so you can see kind of the relationship between elements, compounds, atoms, and molecules. All right, guys, thank you for watching. We'll stop right there.